This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. Our guests this morning are Mary Dembkowski of Oakmont of Santa Clarita, and later in the hour we will be speaking with Rick Ferranti of SC Home Care Services. And how was your long weekend, ladies and gentlemen?
We had a weekend. Sometimes they just pass on by. But it was Memorial Day, and we have to remember what Memorial Day is about, because we do forget that, don't we? All
Yes,
the time.
absolutely.
We forget why we are having a holiday, why we get to stay home, clean our garage out, and things like that. But there are people that have fought for this country, and we have to. Memorial Day is a day to remember them.
That's right.
And my dad is a veteran, a disabled veteran, and I honor him. Every Veterans Day and Memorial Day for signing up and getting into the service and doing what he did for this nation. This is who we have to honor. People like my dad and others who have been out there. Many individuals from this community are still serving us today.
That's true, and we also had an incredible memorial service at Eternal Valley.
Mm-hmm. Did you go?
No, I missed it this year. Mm-hmm. I missed it, and but I understand it was very, very nice. Mm-hmm. And they also paid tribute to Dwayne Hardy, who for years emceed the entire program. Mm-hmm. And of course, he passed away in November of a heart attack, and he wasn't there this time. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people felt the loss. I really do. And we had a great weekend. I did absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. We did go to the Elks Lodge, and they had wonderful food there. It was a potluck. That's correct. And other than that, I've been making candles all weekend.
Ah.
I ran out. My stash is gone. Because I give them all away.
Well, and in times of need, and whether they be when the electricity goes out, or there's a romantic evening that you want to spend with Russ, those candles do come in handy.
Oh yes.
And it's great.
Oh, yes.
And it's great what you do, Barb. You go around and you honor people by passing them out and saying, "Here, this is my Memorial Day to you."
That's right. That's what we will be doing outside of Canyon Theater Guild for 4th of July.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Santa does that breakfast or brunch for a group, and I think it's Don and Sherry Fleming, and they bring their entire family, and they sit under a shaded area in front of the Canyon Theater Guild for July 4th, and I give everyone a candle, a red, white, and blue candle.
Congratulations. That's great. And I think the theme this year for the July 4th parade is strength in volunteering.
Oh, well. Lots of
in honor of Dwayne, as a matter of fact, since he was such a great volunteer here in our community.
He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
So there are many others who participate, and I think at least at the senior center we'll be honoring those seniors who have volunteered as well, with a float that they always put together, and they somehow win a few prizes for what they do. But
absolutely,
sometimes creative and sometimes fun and interesting, and I think the parade has changed the complexion here in Santa Clarita. It's been going on for years, but
it has.
It's so important now that we use it to make sure that we're honoring those in our community. And that's what we are, as whether we be a city or whether we be county or a state or the nation. It's the small little groups of people in every community that makes who we are.
That's exactly correct. Exactly. And Mary, how was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was wonderful. Just kind of staying with that, talking about Memorial Day. I was actually at Oakmont of Santa Clarita on Memorial Day. I happened to work that day, and of course we had a barbecue for our residents in our dining room, but we also had a memorial table set up just to remember and honor those who have lost their lives serving our country. It was very moving, the display that we had, and so again, just remembering those who have served our country. And of course, we have a lot of veterans living at Oakmont as well. So it was a special day. I was glad to be there on that day.
That's great. That's great. Now, tell us a little bit about what's going on at Oakmont.
Well, we're 5 months. We've been open since January 11th, so we're into our 5th month, and our residents have definitely settled in, and our activity programs are in full swing, and things are going really, really well. Of course, we love to invite visitors to come in and see our community. And Barbara, you had mentioned about volunteers. As I was leaving the community this morning, we had a group of ladies that have been coming since we opened, and they spend time in our memory care traditions community, just reading to the residents and talking with them. And it's always a good feeling when I see them come through the door, and those volunteers are so precious and so important.
Who
and
are they?
So
Where do they
it's
come
actually a group called the Fingers of God, and I believe they're from the Valencia Methodist Church. I'm pretty sure, but they're just a wonderful group of ladies that come and volunteer. And we have other volunteers as well, but those ladies happen to be coming in this morning when I was leaving. So
Pretty cool.
yeah, they're great, and the residents absolutely love their time with them.
That's wonderful. And I understand before we got started, you were telling us about some upcoming events.
Yes, well, we're all about doing community events at Oakmont. 2 Saturdays ago, we had the Santa Clarita Artists Association display their beautiful artwork at our community, and they invited. We had an ad in the Signal. We had a great turnout, and it was a great opportunity for them to display their art, for our residents to enjoy it. So that was a great event. Coming up, I noticed that you have Rick Ferranti on the show later, and Rick is among the many hats he wears. He's also a member of the Alzheimer's Association Speakers Bureau, and so he is going to be speaking at Oakmont. I think that's our next event coming up. The topic is hypertension, diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. So it's going to be a discussion on understanding the risk factors of diabetes, hypertension, and how they relate to Alzheimer's disease. Learning to reduce your risk factors. So it's going to be a great talk, and that's happening Wednesday, June 22nd at 6:30 p.m. over at Oakmont, and that will be presented by Rick with the Speakers Bureau.
That's interesting. Hypertension, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. You would never, ever, most people would never associate all of those things together.
I would.
As being
Yes,
risk
being
factors.
a doctor, you would. You would. But the general public wouldn't. I mean, what, hypertension and Alzheimer's? Diabetes and Alzheimer's? Wait a minute.
Right.
Nothing connects. But it really does.
It really does.
Yes, it really does. Jean, tell us how it connects.
Well, I'm not exactly sure, the pathophysiology, but I do think that when you see those who have memory problems, many a times that you're going to see them having other comorbidities, and 2 of them are going to be hypertension and diabetes. And the thing about those 2 diseases, for some, it is something that you can control. By managing your blood pressure, taking it every day with your machine to get your blood sugars down, watching that and watching your diet, assuring that your weight is okay, exercising, doing all of those things could bring that down. If you bring those down, hypertension and diabetes, and not let them become a major problem, you probably will avoid some of the sequelae related to it, which could end up being memory problems.
Right.
So, I think that, there is certainly some link to it, but, if you can maintain your health by diminishing the effects of these diseases, you will, in the long run, lessen the possibility that you'll develop Alzheimer's.
Yes. That's a doctor speaking.
A doctor speaking, yes. And, and
Quote unquote.
Yes, there
of
we
course,
are.
when maintaining that healthy lifestyle is going to be part of the presentation, as well as helping to create a personal action plan. And like Dr. Dorio said, I mean, if you can reduce those risk factors, whatever we can do to reduce the chances of Alzheimer's disease, when it is when it relates to hypertension or diabetes, it's important to learn. So we're excited to have Rick present with us.
So that's going to be Wednesday, June the 22nd at
6:30 p.m.
That's
Yes.
getting past close to my bedtime.
We'll make sure we have
I think
snacks and
most of
coffee
our
to keep
seniors
you
go
awake.
to sleep around 7:30 or 8. Not you, Barb. though.
No, not me.
No, but-
It's usually 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But 10 o'clock is my bedtime. If I don't go to bed at 10 and I stay up later, I'm absolutely wiped out when I have to get up in the morning.
Right.
Yeah, sleep. You need
And
sleep.
it's interesting because as I've gotten older, me need to sleep? Wait a minute. But it's true. My body doesn't go as fast as it used to. It needs more rest.
I agree. I
I-
agree.
And it's very frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
you know.
How about any other things going on? Any other activities or events or lectures or talks or?
Well,
you know, any-
Oakmont is very involved with the Walk to End Alzheimer's. We are actually a sponsor again this year. So this is the 4th year that the Walk to End Alzheimer's will be taking place at Bridgeport Park in October. The date is actually October 8th. For those of our listeners that don't know about the Walk to End Alzheimer's, it's the world's largest event to raise awareness and funds for Alzheimer's disease, care, support, and research. So it's a very important cause, and of course, very close to my heart, having a personal experience with my own mom with Alzheimer's. But anyway, to kick off our kind of our fundraising efforts for the walk, we're doing a little fun event at Oakmont. It's actually the day after the lecture. It's kind of funny that it's called Beer, Barbecue, and Boogie.
Yeah, raise your blood pressure
Yeah.
and your diabetes.
And your diabetes. Of course, everything is fine if you do it in moderation, as we know.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
we will. We're going to have a country western band. We're having Southern style barbecue. There is no charge for the event. However, we will be accepting donations to the
right.
Alzheimer's Association, which will go towards our fundraising efforts for the walk to take place on October 8th. So everyone's invited. We do ask that you call for more information so we can get you on the list. But it's going to be a great event, and that takes place June 23rd, a Thursday, from a little bit earlier, from 5 to 7. So you can
So that's beer, barbecue, and boogie. Oh, wow.
so it should be fun.
Your mind can really go all over the place for that.
So
Beer, barbecue, and boogie. That sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah. So
It really does.
And then, upcoming events, we actually have a great partnership with UCLA Health as well. And we have, we just had a doctor come in and speak on the importance of mobility in your senior years. We're going to have a I never say this correctly, but gastroenterologist
There we are.
speaking in July. I believe it's July 19th. I don't have that date with me, but we will also get information to you on that event next month. So
Terrific.
really
Do you know what
excited.
the exact topic is for that? or-
We firmed the date up and we have the doctor. We're just waiting for him to get back to us with the exact topic.
All right.
So when we're here in July, we can definitely have that for you.
Great.
Terrific. Well, it sounds like there's lots of fun things going on over there.
Every day.
You keep the seniors very,
Yes.
very active.
Keep them active. Education is just one component. Of course, we have the daily exercise programs. We have the fitness center. We have a walking path that goes around the entire community. So every morning at 9:30, we have our walking club, and we have the putting green. And there's just a lot of great activities for our residents to enjoy.
The putting green. Now that sounds interesting.
Boogie and putting.
I think, though, if I boogied first, I wouldn't be able to use the putting green.
Well,
Yeah.
it says putt first.
Putt first, then
You can
boogie.
putt and then boogie.
Boogie.
But I love the story about our putting green. It actually wasn't in our original plan when the community was under construction, and we had one of our residents' sons come to us and say his dad is I think he's 96, and he still likes to go out and putt a little bit. He lived where there was a putting green. He lived on a golf course, actually. And so we went to our owners and put that request in, and they said, well, your courtyard is so large that we can probably fit it over in this area. So we do have that putting green, and that wasn't in the original plan. So
How fun.
it was
How about
great.
a driving range?
No driving
No
range.
driving
You
range.
can
Not quite enough.
golf those balls
Right
over
over to Magic Mountain.
Right.
Now, when you say putting green, do you have the seniors don't have to bend over to pick
No.
up the ball? The ball goes
Exactly,
to that's
exactly.
good.
And usually
That's good.
when our residents are out there golfing, we either have one of the staff or this particular resident, his son is always there. I think it's his son-in-law is always out there with him. So we always make sure there's someone out there just in case there's, any issues where our staff participates as well.
Yeah, because sometimes I have a hard time reaching down to pick up
Right.
that ball out of that hole.
Yes,
Oh.
yes. So we're there to help.
But one of the, our listeners might be familiar with the term assisted living, but some of our listeners
Sure.
are not. And the caregivers are always worried about their loved ones who are living at home, finding that they're not surviving at home. And then they have to try to get their loved ones into a place that they feel is safe. And one of those places is assisted living.
Exactly. And, just to kind of share a little bit about what assisted living is, our goal is to keep our residents independent for as long as possible and just to enjoy their golden years, as we say. And so when they move into an assisted living, they no longer have to worry about preparing meals, cleaning a house, maintaining a home. All that is taken care of for them, so they can spend their time doing other things like enjoying the activities. And one of the concerns that we see often is that our loved one isn't eating properly. They don't cook anymore. They're eating those high sodium, TV dinners that they're
That's
popping in the
right.
microwave. So here we have a balanced menu. We have an executive chef. We make sure our residents are eating 3 good meals a day, making sure they're staying hydrated, as well as keeping active. And we also bring in, the spiritual component as well. So for those who have their loved ones at home and they're concerned that maybe they're not eating properly or they're not getting enough social stimulation, assisted living can be that answer. And we also have staff that can help when their needs change and maybe they now need help with their medications and they're not managing them properly. So we can assist with all of that, while inviting the families to come in and visit and enjoy the community as well. So it can be a great option for our seniors.
Well, how would one get in touch with you?
Very easily. You can call us at 661-295-2025. You can ask for me. My name is Mary, of course. And then you can visit us online at oakmontofsantaclarita.com or stop by. We're at 28650 New Hall Ranch Road. You can stop by anytime and we'd be happy to give you a tour of the community.
Yes, I see, and it's a beautiful place too.
Thank
when I
you.
drive along New Hall Ranch Road, you cannot help but see it.
Yeah, that beautiful view of Magic Mountain.
Oh yeah, it
Can't wait
is.
for those 4th of July fireworks. That's where we're all hanging out.
Oh, I can well imagine
Well, every
because
night they
are
have it, though, during the
beautiful.
summer.
I don't know if they still have it every night.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
not
they?
sure.
No, I think it's
I think it's.
Oh,
I think they
fire hazard.
discontinued
Just on
that.
July.
Yeah,
I
just
think
in
it's just
July.
on July.
Oh, cut
They
that.
On
used
the
to.
July 4th, I think.
Yeah.
They used to do it,
Right.
but I think
That would've been
there was too
great.
much of a fire danger
Yeah.
and that kind
Absolutely.
of thing. So,
Yeah.
well, Mary, it was wonderful having you
Thank
visit
you.
us
It's
again.
always nice
Thank you
to
so
be on your
much.
show. I appreciate it.
Yes, and
Okay.
hopefully we will see either you or Margie, next
All right.
month.
Thank
Terrific.
you.
Thank you
Have
again.
a good day.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.